you.
No, fuck you, dead man.
I want you to feel my rage, my hate. When I reach into your chest and rip out your heart, like you did mine.
That's racist!
No, it's not. You critics need to chill the fuck out. Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this movie review is going to be for the fifth and currently final installment in the Rambo franchise. And also the very, very last review of this franchise, unless they randomly decide to make another one, which might be obvious because it's Hollywood. 2019's, aka the baddest reviewed Rambo film, Rambo Last Blood. Yeah, and this review is probably going to piss off a lot of people. But we're going to get to why it's probably going to. But first, let's say the plot and how it got made. Well, the plot of this movie, almost 4 decades after they drew first blood and 11 years after the events of 2008, Rambo is back, and now must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to exact revenge in a final mission following the kidnapping and death of his niece. A deadly journey of vengeance, Rambo Last Blood marks the presumably last chapter of the legendary series. And how was this movie made? Well, in February 2008, a month after the 4 films' release, Sylvester Stallone revealed that making a 5th film would depend on the success of the 4th film, stating he was gearing one up and that it would be quite different. In March 2008, Stallone revealed that he was halfway through writing Rambo 5, stating that it would not be another war movie, with Bulgaria being considered to double as Rambo's home in Arizona. In February 2009, Stallone revealed that he was proceeding with the 5th film, stated and the conflict would be whether to do it in America or another foreign country again. Then in August 2009, Millennium Films greenlit the film, with Stallone writing, directing, and starring. At that time, the plot would focus on Rambo battling human traffickers and drug lords to rescue a young girl abducted near the US-Mexico border, which was originally going to be the 4th film. In September 2009, Stallone revealed that the film would be titled Rambo 5: The Savage Hunt, and would instead be loosely based on a novel Hunter by James Byron Huggins. The plot was recapitalized to focus on Rambo leading an elite special forces kill team to hunt and kill a genetically engineered creature. New Image and Millennium Films released a concept art poster, an official synopsis for the Savage Hunt, and by November 2009, however, the plot had reverted to the story written by Stallone, which we all know. However, eventually, there were some problems, and around May 2010, Stallone revealed that he was officially done with the franchise and character. He stated he thought Rambo was pretty well done, he doesn't really want to do any more, and he was 99% sure he wasn't going to do it. And he felt that with Rocky Balboa, the character had come complete circle. He went home, but for Rambo to go on another adventure might be what he thought misinterpreted as a mercenary gesture and not necessary. He didn't want that to happen. At the 2010 Cannes Film Festival, ironically, Millennium Films and New Image advertised the film, titled Rambo 5, with the handout poster cards. And despite this, Stallone even stated he wasn't involved with the creative posters and that the studio told him that if he doesn't make the film, they'll find someone else to complete it. Because, hey, welcome to Hollywood. Hollywood wants the money. he stated he wanted the franchise to end and expressed being comfortable with the idea. However, we knew that would not be the case, because both the Rocky and the Rambo franchises would get revived a few years after their final installments. With Rocky, there was Creed and Creed 2, and Creed and Creed 2 to me are not sequels, but to me, those two are more epilogues to Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa is still the true end to the franchise, but Creed 1 and 2 I can accept as kind of an epilogue of him finding a new successor to carry on his legacy. Him training like a new successor to continue his legacy. And then there would be this movie, Last Blood, with Rambo. So, the film was revived, shot, and then finished, edited, marketed, and then this film was theatrically released on September 20th, 2019. Oh boy. Negative reviews. The criticisms were aimed at the script, and even the graphic violence. Hello, what do you expect for a damn fucking Rambo movie, idiots? And apparently, according to them, there was accusations of racist and xenophobic attitude towards Mexico. How was any of this racist? Like, Mexican guys being the villains is not racist, you guys. The hell. Do these guys even know what racism or xenophobia even means? But anyway, let's not get political with this. Let's just review a film. At the box office, it grossed about $91.5 million worldwide against a production budget of $50 million and print and advertisement costs of $30 million. As for fan reactions, some have been positive, but there are some that are also just as negative. I mean, apparently even Rambo fan on YouTube, Rambo Rat for Life, really hated this movie. And no, he did not hate it because of the racism, he hated it for actually mature reasons. Actually proper reasons to hate a movie. He just thought it was boring. At least there's one hater of this movie that's at least mature about his opinions. However, you're probably all going to be punching your screens, angry and swearing when I say this. But I'm actually not one of the people who hates this film. Nope. Sorry guys, before you all get mad and were waiting for me to give this movie an absolute horseshit, not going to happen in this review. Sorry. So if you guys are going to be mad hearing my opinions, I probably recommend shutting off this review because this is not going to be the review or rant you're expecting. So just a little heads up. If you guys don't like this movie, it's fine, but whatever. Back to the review. I actually saw this movie in theaters opening weekend, and I gotta say, I decently enjoyed it more than people have ever since I first saw it. Some may be turned off by the grim tone, but I appreciate the risk director Adrian Grunberg took with bringing such a low-key and intentionally dour entry in a major action franchise whose name is recognized globally. Rest assured, despite the different tone, this is still a Rambo film, and all of his rage gets in torment, gets built up towards the grand carnage, that ends the film. While it doesn't have as high of a body count compared to the previous three entries, especially the fourth one, good god, that was bloody. Nobody who is unfamiliar with Rambo's methods will be surprised at the level of soul-grinding brutality that he dishes out. These kills make John Wick's kills seem like a pleasant day in the park by comparison. This is Stallone's character, arguably more so than David Morrell's, and he brings the character to the only logical conclusion. Considering the previous entries, it's also great to see Rambo display the most emotions he's felt since First Blood, grounding the character and raising the stakes even more. The rest of the supporting cast does a fine job, though I wish Paz Vega was given more to do. Standouts go to Oscar nominee Barraza and Paris McKenna for turning what could have been two-dimensional roles into something a bit more thoughtful, though. Just a bit. The plot I will admit, is thin and predictable. Like, Rambo lectures his niece Gabrielle, who we're going to get to in a bit, about the dangers of the real world that she has yet to experience. Like, she's fresh out of high school, her ignorance has her leaving the ranch anyway to see her father. She makes a stupid decision to see her shady friend in Mexico, who acts so annoying and immature, is obviously and just the way her friend acts is obviously the sign you should not trust this person or befriend them because of how this person behaves and acts all swag. That's clearly a sign that this friend is kind of evil and has a shady side. After being she gets upset after seeing her father. Her friend convinces her to go to the club, and you can tell what happens. If you could put aside the weak story, like, the revenge concept builds a suspense and thrill, seeing Rambo go into a territory where he is alone and defenseless when he is surrounded by a gang of guys. The film works great with its brutal fight scenes and action, which is definitely what you could expect in a Rambo movie. And Rambo using nearly every weapon, from hammers, knives, arrows, and guns, there are some cringy moments when he digs his finger inside a guy's knife wound to pull a bone out. Like, it is totally what you would expect for something like a Rambo film. A mindless, brutal action flick which does its purpose to entertain. And while sure, not as much as 2008, the level of violence in this movie is still insane. Like, even for a film released around 2019, that's why I loved it. That's what I want to see from a Rambo movie. It's nothing held back or nerfed down to PG-13 levels. Like, I don't know what the body count is for this movie, but it clearly felt incredibly high despite not much action in this film. And all the villains are actually set up decent. We are still made to truly hate them, which really still makes it better when Rambo starts doing his thing like in 2008's film. And the final 20 minutes or so in this movie are incredible. It's a quite amazing action sequence that has been seen to be believed. Like, okay, now, I will admit, guys, maybe you are right. There are some flaws with the film that bug me. Like, for starters, yeah, I can agree with this one. This movie wasn't really needed. Because, yeah, 4 did end the franchise beautifully, so there wasn't really a need to make another Rambo film, to be honest. I can see why Stallone originally didn't want a 5th movie. Because even he felt like 4 was just the end of the franchise and kind of should have stayed that way. And now let's get to Gabrielle. Gabrielle is probably damn annoying. Due to the fact that she ignores Rambo's warnings of not going to Mexico, which she does anyway. If you've seen 2008 film, remember the missionaries that ignored Rambo's warnings of not going to Burma? That happens in this movie too. Like, this and 4 are proof that nobody should ever ignore Rambo's warnings. At all. Because if you've seen the last one, you knew when nobody listened to Rambo's warnings in the last movie, it's never going to end well for them. We know how it ended for the missionaries, and we know how it's going to end for Gabrielle. And yeah, she gets kidnapped, drugged, and dies. Yeah, but dies the minute Rambo rescues her. So that's how it all turns out. And then another flaw I have is the runtime feels way too rushed, because it's like only 89 minutes long. Although yes guys, I do know there is a 101 minute cut in other places that features an alternate opening scene. I feel like we should have got that cut instead, because it would have been a bit more developed. And also, yeah, and the villains aren't really that great compared to 10 since they're just another sex slave ring. But let's be honest, guys. We all know pretty much what to expect when it comes to Rambo movies, right? And yet, even knowing for the most part what is coming up, we flock to watch the latest installment. The best part about them has been that every single sequel has lived up to the standards set by the previous film, and this one is not really different. Well, except for Rambo 3 anyways. You can still cheer on Rambo, and being amazed that Stallone at age 73 at the time this movie came out was still in good enough shape to make another film in the franchise. And the supporting cast on the good guy side is still a solid job with Monreal playing innocent well enough to be convincing, and Vega is used sparingly and could have been done more, like I've said. Oscar Janetta as bad guy Pimp and Sergio Perez McKenna as his brother Hugo are while generic, still pretty sleazy bad guys that you want to not only go down but to suffer along the way. And spoilers for those that haven't seen it, they do. And some people can feel that this is like kind of a knockoff of Taken and Home Alone combined, but I will admit I kind of like they went that approach because I'd rather see them try to do something different with the franchise, even if they fail, then try to be like Star Wars and rehash the same exact shit from the original 3 films all over again, and even crack a dumb joke in certain scenes that should be serious when they are doing it. Yeah, so that's kind of why I like they kind of try to rip off Taken in this, because they actually try to do something a little more fresh this time around. Sure, doesn't look like the Rambo we all should know in the first 4 movies, but at least, hey, it's still better than rehashing the same stuff all over again always. And while there's not enough action in this movie, there's still high amounts of gore, especially for a film released in the 2010s when Karens ruin just about anything in Hollywood and try to have everything be family-friendly nowadays, and when woke was destroying franchises, especially a certain Terminator film that would also get released the same year as this movie, just 2 months after this movie anyways, which you think you can all the name of. That Lucamus Prime will be trash-talking this week. If you want to check that out this week, guys, when it comes onto his channel, feel free to check it out on his channel, but please don't leave inappropriate comments on his channel, because his channel, unlike mine, is actually family-friendly. But despite some criticisms I still have in this movie, I still have fun with Last Blood. I still think it's an enjoyably fun, gory action flick. Last Blood still knows what it wants to be. Not some Oscar-winning masterpiece, just a dumb, fun, grisly, sadistic, and gory action film that still has a serious tone of the first movie, and this would be my final recommendation. So overall, my recommendation is that this movie is still worth checking out if you want to see what's become of John after he finally returned home, but don't expect something like 1, 4, or 2 before going into this, because it's not as good as those films and still has some bugging criticisms. But despite that, Last Blood is still a fun movie. If you were wondering how I'm going to rank Last Blood, I am going to give Last Blood a 7 out of 10. There we go. I've pretty much reviewed all the Rambo movies, and with that, we are done talking about the Rambo films, now that we've covered all 5 of the movies. And if you're wondering what my franchise ranking is, my franchise ranking is still the same as last time. That's never going to change. So what am I going to review next? Well, I'm going to be reviewing all 3, and I think you can just see what it is by grabbing the DVDs. All 3 of these. Like, you guys can say it, but there's only 2 of these movies. Well, yeah, there's 2 of this version, but you guys remember we still had the shitty reboot in 2015. So that's also going to be ranting, and I'm going to have fun talking, yeah. And I'm going to have so much fun talking about the 2015 film. Fuck! But yeah, Fantastic Four is next, and these 2 are also going to be some controversial reviews, because I know they're hated, but I don't hate these movies either, guys, so just bear that in mind. But anyway, enough about that. That'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and if you'd like to want to see more, then don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.